What's up, everybody? It's Critical, and I bet you thought I forgot about it this year, huh? I bet you thought it just slipped my mind. You've been going to bed every night, sailing with a semi-chub, drifting off into nightmares because you thought I didn't remember. Well, now you can finally get some peaceful sleep because I did remember, and it is that time. That time where I answer the year's most asked questions and emails that I've gotten. So let's just dive right in. The first one is, what happened to the lesbian porn video that I exclusively masturbated to for a few years? For those of you who don't keep up with podcast lore, for a couple of years I would only masturbate to one lesbian porn video called Nice Pair of Lesbians. I was basically married to this video. I wouldn't cheat on it with any other videos. And I've been getting asked throughout the entire year what happened to it. So let's talk about Nice Pair of Lesbians. It got taken down, and to my knowledge and through research, extensive research, I can't find it anywhere. There's no re-uploads. If there is re-uploads, it's probably in like 140p, and that's just not even worth busting to. But yeah, so let's take a moment of silence and remember Nice Pair of Lesbians on RedTube. So now that I've answered the most hard-hitting question with that out of the way, the next one is, what is 100% on the Moist Meter? So I started the Moist Meter series this year, and the highest score I've given is a 90%, so people are wondering what the fuck does 100 look like? They assume it's The Mummy, since The Mummy is my favorite movie, and my second favorite movie is The Mummy Returns. But no, I wouldn't give either one of them 100. I don't mean to startle or scare any of you. I'm not trying to sniff your ass while you're bending over in the shower for soap or anything, trying to catch you off guard. I just don't think they're perfect movies or anything. At most, I'd give them a 70%. I think they're just extraordinarily fun, and I genuinely love them more than any other movie I've ever seen. But come on, let's be honest here. Let's call a scooter a scooter. These aren't masterpieces. They're just great, fun movies to watch and enjoy. I could only think of 3 things that I would give 100% to on the Moist Meter. 2 TV shows and 1 movie, and I've thought about this quite a bit. The only movie I could see myself giving 100% to out of all the movies I've seen is The Dark Knight. I think The Dark Knight is just an all-around perfect movie. No matter what your tastes are, you will enjoy The Dark Knight to some degree. It has a little bit of everything, and all of it is just perfectly executed. I think that is just a masterpiece in terms of movies. For TV shows, the first one I think a lot of you will agree with me on, and then those who don't are the ones that sniff their farts and get high off of them, and it's Breaking Bad. I know some of you are turned off. Wow, bandwagoner, he likes Breaking Bad, thinks it's a perfect show. But I really do. From start to finish, the show only gets better. Starts off fantastic, gets better, ends perfectly. I loved everything about Breaking Bad, 0 complaints. And the other TV show is Courage the Cowardly Dog. I made a whole video dedicated to talking about Courage, and I think that perfectly sums up why I think it's 100% in terms of a TV show. Everything it wanted to do, it did it perfectly. It was just the best possible cartoon you could ever make. It was great for adults, great for children, had a lot of comedy, had a lot of horror, had great messages. Great show, 100%. Those are the only 3 things I can think of for 100% on the Moist Meter. The next big question is, why don't I like PUBG? So if you're unfamiliar with PUBG, God bless you, you're very lucky. But for those of you who do know, PUBG has taken off in popularity, it's done some incredible stuff, and it's spawned an incredibly hostile, toxic community that makes Overwatch community look like saints. And I don't like PUBG for one big reason. The game is fucking boring. At its core, it's just a boring game. Now, I loved it when it first came out. It did Battle Royale better than every other game out there at the time, and just as a side note, PlayerUnknown's Battleground didn't invent the Battle Royale genre. Please stop trying to copyright it, you fucking micro dicks at Bluehole or Pub Corporation, whatever the fuck you're calling yourself. I think it's Pub Corp. Sounds like a Resident Evil 7 faction that's evil, and they are evil people. But yeah, they did it the best at the time, and I loved it because the proximity voice chat was super fucking fun. Some unique memories that will never be able to exist in any other type of game. It was just a really fun wild, wild west of people looking for a good time and to fuck around. But the game at its core is just a boring game. The optimal strategy to win PUBG games is to avoid conflict at all cost, until the very end when the safe zone is shrunk down to about 20 virgins in a small area. But until then, everyone's just so spread across this absolutely massive map, and I say that in a bad way because the map is way too fucking big for only 100 players. Half the game is nothing happening at all. The map is so fucking big, it makes the entire state of Florida feel the size of a Dave & Buster's. It would take you longer to run from one side of the PUBG map, either one, the desert one or the other one. It would take you longer to run from one side to the other than it would for me to run from Orlando to St. Augustine. The map is far, far, far too big. And the games just consist of the same shit over and over again. You go to the ghost town, you loot for 15 minutes, then you run through an open field for 30 minutes with nothing at all happening. You just click auto run and that's the end of that. You get to the safe zone, you wait a little while, then you start auto running again with nothing happening the whole time. It's a boring fucking game at its core if you're trying to win. And now on to the next question, which really just kind of piggybacks off the last one. Why don't I like PlayerUnknown? Well, it's because, in my opinion, he's just a laughably pathetic developer, but I just think the way he conducts himself is sad. You could cough in his general direction, you will not only get banned in his game, he will then go on Twitter and drum up some sob story about how when he was 8 years old, a serial killer coughed near him and it cursed his whole family, so it's a traumatic experience. He's just such a sad man, in my opinion. It's just, he made this game, he showed it no tender love and care, he just rakes in all this money, he goes the way of greed with the loot boxes instead of fixing the shit that's glaringly wrong. But I mean, he's raking in so much money, it just doesn't matter to him, and you know, the game could have been a lot better, but fuck it, he's just gonna go cry on Twitter instead of doing shit that's actually beneficial. So, on to the next big question of the year. Do I still attempt shaving my asshole every now and then? Previous years answering questions video, I was asked, do I shave my asshole a lot? And the answer was, yeah, occasionally I give it a try because I feel like, you know, cleaner shits, less wiping, and also less sweating down there. But turns out, counterproductive. Shaving your asshole just leads to like fucking greased ass cheeks. It's far more moist down there, a lot more swamp ass, so no, I don't shave it down there anymore. Now on to a little speed round here, because these are pretty simple answers to simple questions. What's my favorite 2017 game? Nioh, by far. Fucking landslide, love that game. What is my streaming schedule, or do I have a streaming schedule? No, I don't. I always just stream whenever I feel like streaming. Forcing yourself to do something is never a good thing, unless of course you're like afraid of water and you never drink water, then you probably at some point gotta force yourself to drink some fucking water. Do I plan on doing any more voice acting? That's not up to me. I'd like to. If any big budget video games, blockbuster movies need an emotionless husk to voice a character, I'm your guy. Another last big major question I've been asked a lot this year is what camera do I use to record real life videos? I use an iPhone camera. I set it up in all types of baffling ways. You would be surprised at the amount of ways I've been able to set up this phone to record it the way I want it to be recorded. And sometimes that doesn't work, as you have seen in a video recently called Yes, I Know the Camera is Shitty and Confusing. That wasn't the original title of the video. Only early birds got to see the real title, but the camera work was so fucking bad that I thought I might as well just acknowledge that since the comments are saying how bad the camera is, yes, I'm aware the camera's fucking bad, and I didn't notice it until afterwards, and I'd already paid $30 for the card, so rode with it. Point being, I set up my phone camera in a lot of different fucking ways. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I don't have a video camera, just my phone. So yeah, those are the biggest questions I got asked in 2017. So yeah, that's it. See ya.